just for y'all to know, we will be recording this session, and a copy of this recording will be sent to everyone after this call. So you don't have to take down any notes. You will get a recording of this call. So a quick agenda about today. We will go talking about MACEE Fulbright Malaysia, about our Fulbright program, the specialist program, and selection criteria, and our project timeline. Plus, we will have our alumni sharing session and a Q&A. Now, again, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the MACEE's Interactive Information Session focused on the Fulbright Specialist Program. We are thrilled that you have chosen to spend the next hour with us, and we do appreciate your valuable time. I'm Lena, your friendly guide and support for the Fulbright American Specialist Program. We're going to take you on an interactive information hour, the next 1 hour. And also, we are fortunate to have with us our esteemed, gracious previous specialist host, Dr. Hyo Chong Hin from UITM, and Dr. Hairani Yusof from Dyslexia Association of Sarawak. As previous hosts for our specialists, they'll share their hands-on experiences and offer valuable advice from their project. To conclude our session, we will have a Q&A segment where you will have the opportunity to address any lingering questions or concerns. Feel free to type your questions in the chat box. Let me take you on a fascinating journey on the history and significance of the Malaysian-American Commission on Education Exchange, known as MACEE. Established in 1963 through a binational agreement between Malaysia and the United States, MACEE serves as an independent body dedicated to fostering educational exchange and diplomacy between these two remarkable nations. It's worth noting that MACEE is one of only 49 Fulbright commissions worldwide, a testament to its esteemed position in promoting academic and cultural exchange. For the past 60-odd years, Malaysia has played a pivotal role in facilitating this prestigious program, which stands as the premier academic exchange program between US and Malaysia. The Fulbright program has earned global reputation for nurturing and empowering exceptional minds in their respective fields since its inception in 1946. The program has also awarded over 400,000 Fulbright grants to participants from 160 countries. With more than 8,000 grants awarded annually, the selection process is highly competitive. Fulbrighters not only serve as cultural ambassadors, fostering cultural exchange between US and Malaysia, but they also act as change makers in their specialized domains. In its illustrious 76-year history, the Fulbright program boasts an impressive list of alumni, including over 40 former or current head of states and more than 60 Nobel Prize winners. It is truly remarkable to witness this program has had on shaping global leaders and innovators. While we are here to discuss on how the Fulbright Specialist Program can benefit your institution, we also encourage you to explore other grant programs available which you and your colleagues can take advantage of. For more details on information on our programs, please visit our website, www.macee.org.my. Just for everyone to know, we have 7 programs for Malaysians to apply to go to the US, and we have 3 programs for Americans to apply to come to Malaysia. Now, I will guide you through the Fulbright Specialist Program. Sorry, but the Fulbright Program, sorry. The Fulbright Program is the United States government flagship program. It offers a unique international educational and cultural exchange for passionate and accomplished students, scholars, artists, teachers, and professionals from all backgrounds in more than 160 countries worldwide. Over 390,000 participants have received grants through the Fulbright program to participate in international exchange. The Fulbright Specialist Program is one over a dozen different programs that encompass the larger Fulbright program. The image on the left you will see is our 2023 US Specialist, Dr. Marcia Amelia, conducting a drawing workshop for students and faculty at the Malaysian Institute of Art. The Fulbright Specialist Program was established in 2001. Through the program, host institutions design short-term projects that addresses a key priority or need of the institution. The program then matches the project with a leading U.S. professional or academic in that field of study to carry out the project activities. Projects are from 2 to 6 weeks in length and provide educational and training opportunities for host institutions in over 20 disciplines. Fulbright Specialist Program is designed to accommodate projects on a flexible timeline, and exchanges take place year-round. Normally, 4 to 6 grants are allocated annually for Malaysia. The image on your right is our 2023 U.S. Specialist Dr. Paul Kim conducting a professional development workshop for teachers at Petro Science Play Smart Johor Bahru. Approximately 450 Fulbright Specialist projects are conducted each year over 150 countries worldwide. The benefits of participating in the specialist program offer several benefits for host institutions. Here are some of the advantages. The program provides an opportunity for host institutions to access the expertise and knowledge of highly qualified specialists in various fields. Interacting with specialists from different backgrounds can contribute to the professional development of faculty, staff, and students at host institutions. Specialists can then share best practices, innovative teaching methods, and cutting-edge research techniques, thereby enriching the learning environment and promoting continued growth. The program encourages collaboration between the host institution and the specialists. This collaboration can lead to joint research projects, the development of new educational programs, and the exchange of ideas and resources. Such partnerships can strengthen the institution's reputation and foster long-term relationships with experts in the field. Hosting specialists from the U.S. provides an excellent opportunity for host institutions to expand its international network. This global network can enhance the institution's visibility and promote cross-cultural understanding. By hosting the specialists, the host institution can enhance its capacity in specific areas of expertise. Specialists can train and mentor faculty and staff, provide workshops and seminars, and contribute to curriculum development. The capacity building can lead to improvements in teaching quality, research output, and overall institutional performance. The diverse cultural backgrounds also promotes cultural exchange and understanding within the host institution. Specialists can share their unique perspective and experience, fostering a more inclusive and global learning environment. This cultural exchange can broaden the horizons of students and staff, preparing them to thrive in an increasingly interconnected world. These are the eligible institutions that can apply for the specialist program: academic, government, cultural, medical institutions, and non-governmental organizations, or known as NGOs. These are the eligible project fields. Host institutions can design and submit project proposals under any of these 24 eligible project disciplines. It should be noted that projects in the fine arts and humanities are also eligible for this program. Proposals in these areas are typically submitted under the American-US Studies discipline. It is important to note that personal research projects, including clinical medical research or projects involving direct patient contact, are not eligible for funding under the Fulbright Specialist Program. Fulbright Specialist projects include a wide range of specific activities. However, all projects must have an educational or training focus. Listed are a few examples of common projects activities. The specialist may also help the host to develop materials that can be used after the grant period, such as training or course curriculum, or workforce development plans, which are open not only to the host institution, but also the community. Activities must take place during the single visit when the specialist is here. The image you see on our left is our U.S. Specialist 2024, Dr. Catherine Rogers, teaching narrative medicine at the Department of Pediatrics at UMMC. All projects must take place within Malaysia, whether East Malaysia or West Malaysia, and you can only host one specialist per project. All projects must have a minimum of 14 days, that is the date that they leave the US, and have a maximum length of 42 days in length, which means 2 to 6 weeks, which includes the travel time from the United States to Malaysia and also including weekends and public holidays. Now, the important part. This is a cost share program. The U.S. Department of State, the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs, known as ECA, along with other host institutions, provide U.S.-based specialists with full funding to participate in this program. So the benefits, which include from the host for the specialist, is the round-trip economy class airfare between U.S. and Malaysia, transit allowance, and a daily honorarium, and enrollment in limited health benefits program. So this is the responsibility of the U.S. State Department to make the booking for the U.S. specialists. The host institutions, such as yourselves, are responsible for the accommodation, meals, in-country transportation, in-country airport transfer, visa processing, and visa charges. Now, in terms of accommodation, host institutions are obliged to procure secure, comfortable, and safe housing for the specialists. This can be hotels, this can be university housing suitable for faculty or professional level, or approved homestays with staff and faculty, but only if your specialist agrees to the homestays. Now, in terms of accommodation, when you fill out the application, some universities or some institutions do have their own accommodation, you can put that in, but you would still need to put an estimated costing in USD for per day, and then you times it by the number of days for the duration of your specialist project. When it comes to meals, you would calculate, if it comes with breakfast, then you can calculate 100 ringgit for lunch and dinner per day. If not including breakfast, then it's 3 meals. It would be 150 ringgit per day times the number of days that your project is going to be held, which also includes the weekends and public holidays if it does fall within your project dates. A lot of universities or institutions use the company car or the institution's car to take the specialists from where they're staying to the university or to the institution and back to any project visits. You are also required to pick up the specialists from the airport and drop them off at the airport. We do have some institutions that will accompany their specialists for lunch and dinners and take them around. So we highly encourage this because this will help with the cross-cultural exchanges between Malaysians as well as the faculty. Who are the Fulbright specialists? To start, the individuals who serve as Fulbright specialists are American experts in their specific professional field with demonstrated cross-cultural communication skills that allow them to adapt to different countries' contexts globally. They also have a strong potential to potentially impact both your institution and their community and institutions upon the completion of the project. So the specialist does not have to be someone who's affiliated to a university. It has to be someone who is a specialist in their field. So there could be someone with a specific company, an association. So it does not have to be, it's open. That's who these specialists are. Now, for Americans to be eligible to serve as a Fulbright specialist, they have to complete a robust application process, include being reviewed by a panel of their professional peers. If they are approved by the panel, they are added to the Fulbright specialist roster for a period of 2 years, during which time they are eligible to be matched with a project designed by any host institution. So there's 2 kinds of projects that you can apply for. One is an open project and one is a named project. Some of you may already know and identified your American specialists that you want to work with. So you would name them and you would put their names as a named specialist. Some of you do not have anyone in mind, so you can apply under the open project. So if you are doing the name project, you must include their name and their contact. And they will also ask you if they are a specialist. If they're not and you don't know, you can also put your don't know. Our team will contact them and see if they're interested to participate in the program, and then ask them to put in their application as a Fulbright specialist. After the project is approved, we will search the Fulbright Specialist roster and identify potential candidates based on candidates' discipline and specializations, previous professional experience, interest in participating in the project, and availability during the host institution's preferred project dates. A list of 5 qualified candidates will then be sent to the host institution to choose from. We strongly encourage that those of you who are selected for this program to rank your top candidates and have a phone discussion before the match is finalized to ensure that the individual is ultimately a good fit for the project. A host institution might pursue the named projects if, like I said before, if you already know them or that person has been recommended to you. They do not have to be part of the Fulbright Specialist roster at the time the proposal is submitted, but they will need to be approved to join the roster before the project takes place. So now what is the application process? It is very easy. The program announcement is available on our website, which we will share on the chat box. All you have to do is click on the application link, and there's also a document for host roles and responsibilities and our FAQ. However, all of these documents will also be emailed to you right after this call. Once you have applied and submitted by March 28th, we will then review the proposals and we will shortlist them. And then you'll be notified if you are selected for the program. So very quickly, I'm going to go through the application process. When you click on the link, it will take you to this website, which is the World Learning website. You will need to click on New User. Once you click on New User, it will take you to this page where you put your name, your first name, your last name, your email, and the name of your host institution. And then, of course, we all know reCAPTCHA, so click on the box to say you're not a robot and click Submit. Check your email that you have registered. And please remember which email that you put in. We have a lot of sometimes we have people who register, but they forgot which email. So please use your host institution email so that you remember the email. Check your junk mail or your spam mail, but you will get an email confirmation with the link to the website, and you would need to set your password. Now, write your password somewhere that you can remember, because you will need to go in back again to start your application process. Once you have set your password, you go back to the login page, write your username and email, put in your password, and then click login. And will bring you to the home page. It's a very simple page. Step 1, you would go to the contact page, the contact tab here, or the contact box here, and click edit and update your name, your department, your title, your address, your email, if you have a home number, your mobile number, your work number, and fax number. And then the second step is, of course, to update your organization details, putting the name, the address, the phone, the fax, the email, as well as the website. The third step is to go to projects. And this is where you're going to start putting in the information for your project. Click on New Proposal. Once you click on New Proposal, you will see this tab. Now it will have instructions, contacts, details, timeline, specialist survey, and submit. And on your right-hand side, you will see the status of your application once you fill it in. Now, you don't have to sit down in one time and do all of this. You can work on each application in parts and then just submit it in before the due date is due. So the first one is the contacts. Now, we encourage to have 2 people always when writing this, when hosting a project. So the main primary contact is the person that will be in charge of this project. So you put their full name, their phone number, and their email. And the secondary contact is the second person in charge of this project. So we always have 2 people from the host institution working on this. Then you click Save and Next. Or you can click Save, and then you can exit and come back and do the next page. All the information is saved whenever you click Save or Save and Next. When you click Save and Next, it will go to the next page. And this is where you will talk about the project details. This is where you have your title of your project, which academic field, what specific specialization you're going to be looking in, which department will be hosting this project, what is the issue or challenge that you are trying to address during this project. You also have to write down during this page the three primary objectives that you aim to achieve with the Fulbright Specialists. Please provide a brief description of the proposed project activities, including a list of specific tasks that the Fulbright Specialist would have to carry out during his time or her time in your institution. So if you are wanting the specialist for 14 days, you would need to write down specifically what they're going to be doing once they arrive each day. This could just be a draft, and later on it can be changed, but it can't change from what you specifically put in the draft, but you can change it later, maybe move it around as you get closer to when the specialist arrives. Please also include the type of audience or individuals that the specialist will be working with, either faculty, professionals, students, the community, government officials, or the public. You would have to limit to 1,000 words. How will this project align with your institution's priorities? And what do you believe will be the project's overall impact to your institution and also the community and the country? In addition, how will the project promote continued linkages between your institution, the Fulbright Specialists, and their institution when they return to the US? Under locations, you would need to list the locations where the Fulbright Specialists would conduct their work. Example, the primary location of your institution, or if there's multiple sites around Malaysia. Please be specific and include the exact addresses where your majority of work will occur. As a reminder, all projects must take place in Malaysia. Please be as specific as possible when filling up your project details. Once done, click Save and go on to the next page. This is the timeline side. All projects designed by the host institution must adhere to the earlier mentioned eligibility requirements. The length of project must be a minimum of 14 days, which is 2 weeks, and a maximum of 42 days, including travel days, weekend, and holidays. Under multi-visit project, please select No, because yours is a single visit. Input the desired date for the Fulbright Specialist. So for this project, your project can start anytime after the 1st of January 2026, and it must end anytime before the 30th of September 2026. So you could pick 2 to 6 weeks anytime between the 1st to the 30th of September to put in your specialist visit. Under the flexibility in the timing of the project outside the date. So if you've put a selected dates, please describe if the dates are flexible or not. If it's not flexible, please advise why. Maybe you'd want them to present a paper during a conference that is happening during that time, hence why the dates are not flexible. However, please bear in mind, if it's a named specialist, they can start in January, but if it's an open specialist, it takes time for recruitment, so you should start anywhere after April. Under the specialist information, if the section of the academic field employment and specialization that are focus of this project are specified in the details tab, then you do not have to include the name specialist if you don't know. If you do, you can put in under the name specialist the name of the person that you have selected. And you would need to put in their contact details, especially their email, so our team can connect with them. And then we have a very quick survey that you would have to do. How did you learn about the Fulbright Specialist Program? And then, which is the institution, your institution type, whether you're a ministry, whether you are higher learning, whether you're an NGO. And very quickly, you would need to tick here, it's a certification of authenticity, and then click Submit, and you will receive a message box to say that your proposal has been submitted, and you will also receive an email that your proposal has been submitted to us. What are our criteria when we look at project shortlists? The criteria process includes the following steps. Eligibility check. The host institution must meet the program eligibility requirement, include being a non-profit organization, government agency, or academic institution. Project proposal, detailed explanation on how the project will further new connections and partnerships with other institutions in Malaysia, and specify tangible outcomes or impacts of projects on the community and Malaysia. Overall, the host institutions are shortlisted based on the quality and relevance of their project proposals, as well as their ability to provide a sustainable working environment and support for the visiting US expert. This is the timeline for when the applications when it's announced. So on March 28th is the application deadline. We do encourage you to submit as early as possible and don't wait for the deadline, just in case you might have some technical problem. And then on June 30th, those who are shortlisted will be informed that they have been shortlisted. And then, of course, we still have to wait by October 30th if the approval from the State Department and the Fulbright Board. And then November 25, you will get your official notification of the finalists. And project starts on the January 1st, and project must end before 30th of September. And now we go to the most interesting part, of course, where we will be asking any questions to our previous host. And I'm pleased to introduce again our next speakers, our 2024 Fulbright Specialist host, Dr. Hairani Yusof from Dyslexia Association of Sarawak, and Dr. Hyo Chong Chin from University Technology Malaysia. Over to you, Dr. Hairani.
Thank you very much, Lina. We were actually very honored and very happy to have a specialist, Fulbright specialist that came to visit us. I'm from the Dyslexia Association of Sarawak, and we wanted someone to teach and handle children with disabilities or learning difficulties. So we had Dr. Karen Fisher from Georgia Southern University. Next slide, please.
Sorry.
Okay, so while she's working on the slides, what were the challenges? Why did we choose to have a specialist from Fulbright? For the aspect of dyslexia, a lot of people are surprisingly and still not aware of what dyslexia is, and a lot of parents had difficulty trying to find out whether their child have learning difficulties. And by the time they reach us for intervention, it was they were at a later age when they could have benefit from the intervention if it was conducted earlier. So that was the challenges that we faced. So the objectives that we set out is to provide hands-on training for teachers who are involved in either children with learning difficulties or with dyslexia in particular. We also wanted to raise awareness among parents and the public on what dyslexia is and what learning difficulties are. We wanted to enhance the skills of teachers, caregivers, parents, those who are involved in children with learning difficulties, so that they're able to identify and manage those children earlier. We also wanted to get insights on improving facilities for children with learning difficulties in and around Kuching with the expert that's coming. And we wanted to build global networks with experts. Okay, next slide. So how did we achieve these objectives? Next slide, please. We conducted 2 programs for the specialists. The first one was to conduct a workshop, and this workshop is targeted for teachers, for educators, for caregivers, parents who are involved in nursery, preschool, people who are involved in children at an early age, so that they can identify those children with learning difficulties, what they can do about it, what is to be done about this, whether they can actually recommend them to be assessed earlier. And we were very honored and happy to have the support of the minister herself, Dato' Haja Fatima, the Minister of Women, Early Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development. She actually came to participate in the workshop. She attended the closing ceremony, and she was very happy with the way it was conducted. We actually had 61 participants for this workshop. So they had a chance of listening to the facilitator, which is Dr. Karen, and we also had breakout groups in workshops where they had hands-on training as well. Okay, so the second program, next slide, is an awareness seminar because we wanted to raise the awareness for dyslexia and children with learning difficulties. So we had an awareness seminar for parents and the general public. And again, we were honored to have the support of the MP, YB Wilfred Yap, and Dr. Karen was the main facilitator to help us raise awareness on how parents can know whether their child has learning difficulties and what they can do about it. In this session, we had about 81 participants. Okay, next. So apart from that, we brought her to visit schools, special schools or schools with special classes. And we also invited her to visit the one-stop early intervention center, which is one of the first in Sarawak. It was one of the biggest actually, so that she can have a look at what is being done, what is being conducted, and how she can contribute to help them gain more insights or to improve the current things that are being conducted. Okay, next. We also brought her to visit the community center. So these are the children who have already left the primary school. They are learning and getting skills. And we also invited her to visit the preschool by Sedide. Sedide is actually one of the state government agencies for preschool, so that she can again look at how it's being done and how things can be improved. So they can also benefit from this Fulbright specialist that has come to visit us. Okay, next. So the outcomes at the end of the visit, she was with us for 2 weeks. We were very lucky, and the teachers at Dyslexia Center was very happy because they actually received hands-on training over the period of the 14 days that she was here. The minister herself also expressed how happy and her gratitude over the experts' contribution to Sarawak community as a whole. We received a lot of positive feedback from teachers, educators, the parents, the caregivers who attended the workshop and the seminar. And they actually asked whether we can have more of such programs. And we are also still collaborating with Dr. Karen online to see how we can explore potential future programs. Okay, next slide. So we would like to thank MACEE and we would like to thank Fulbright for their support in making this a success. Thank you. Over to you, Lina.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hairon. We really appreciate your presentation on this. And now over to Dr. Hill from UITM.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Fulbright Malaysia and MACEE for inviting me to share my experience hosting the Fulbright Specialists that was hosted by UITM, Faculty of Medicine. So the Fulbright Specialist that came to my faculty is Dr. Roland Weidner, and she is the assistant professor from the Arizona State University. And she herself is a trained forensic entomologist and also a president of the North American Association for Forensic Entomology. So the title of our application is as a training workshop, and we wanted to focus on the application concepts and the evidence collection methods. Okay, next, please. The objective of the workshop is to offer an official American Board Forensic Entomology certification for our local participants. So for your information, that when we think about the challenge, right, or something novelty in Malaysia is this workshop is the first of its kind in the Southeast Asia region. Yeah, in fact, this is the second workshop in Asia. Yeah, the first workshop was carried out in South Korea, and Malaysia is the second country in Asia to organize such workshop. And of course, we hope that our Fulbright specialists to provide expert advice, project supervision, publications, student projects, and also to deliver seminars to enhance our knowledge and skills in forensic entomology. And number 3 is to strengthen our international academic relationship. And most importantly is to offer Malaysian a chance to be certified internationally for the service that we provided for our forensic industry. Yeah, thank you. So next slide. So this is during the workshop. Yeah, the workshop was carried out in UITM Sungai Buloh in the Faculty of Medicine. So during that time, the opening ceremony was officiated by our Assistant Vice Chancellor, Associate Prof. Dr. Noor Azida, who who is from the UITM Global. Yeah, so she officiated the ceremony together with our deputy deans as well. And in total, we have 20 participants from all over Malaysia, and they are from Ministry of Health Malaysia, from hospitals, forensic pathologists, forensic officers, postgrad students, and even we have participants from Singapore as well. Yeah. Okay, next please. And during the workshop, not only lectures, seminars, but we also conduct field work as well as the lab work. As you know, this is more to the scientific experiment and research, right? So it involves field work and lab work. As you can see, this is how we collect the sample from from the model, yeah, from the animal model that we place in UITM Sungai Buloh. All right, next please. So the outcome is, yeah, as I mentioned before, this is the first of its kind of training conducted in Malaysia for the certification directly from the US. Because at the end of the workshop, the participant need to take the exam, and the exam will be sent back to the United States to be examined. Yeah, and we hope to bridge forensic science and law enforcement. And during our Fulbright Special visit, we actually brought her to Perhilitan. There is one forensic wildlife institute. So we try to bridge different government agency as well, not only in UITM, but other agency. And of course, we hope to have the global knowledge exchange. She presented in the conference during the first week. Yeah, she presented a paper. And at that time, the conference was conducted in Kuala Lumpur itself. So it's good. Yeah. And most importantly, is to strengthen the research collaboration between Malaysia and US. So I just want to say that, your collaboration, it will not stop after the specialists went back to US, but the continuation after that. So for example, that, this year I will go to the US to visit them, yeah, for the conference presentation. So this is some example that we can do after this. So thank you so much, Lina. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Heo. So any questions you may have, please put it in the chat box. And also, you can always email me at lina@macee.org.my, or you can contact my phone. Direct line is 2166-8878. The application link, as well as your institution's roles and responsibilities in the recording of this call, will be available on our website, but I will also be emailing it to you after the call today. And please don't forget to submit your application before the 28th of March this year, 2025. And now we'll go to the start of our Q&A session. So before we start, I think I'll just ask some questions to our host. I'm sure you all are probably thinking, how did they select their specialists? Did they have name? Did they have a name? So I'm going to start this question to Dr. Haironi. When you selected your Fulbright specialist, was it a named or was it an open project?
We did not have a name of any specialist in mind. And when we submitted our application, Fulbright gave us a list of specialists. And I must tell you, Lina, you made life difficult for us because you gave us a list of specialists that were very hard to choose from because they're all experts. And they were actually very, very good if we can get them to visit. The only way to select was to see, because each of the specialists had their time, preferred time for coming. So the only way we could select, because they were all almost similar in terms of experience, we actually selected them based on their date that matched the time of our program. And two is to see whether it's relevant to the program that we wanted to conduct. So it was quite difficult, but yes, that was how we selected them.
Well, thank you so much for that feedback. So I do know for just all of you all who are planning projects, most specialists like to come over the summer period in the US. So that could be from May onwards to August. So while in your application right now, if you don't have a date in mind, you can put the summer periods, and those dates can change. It is flexible to change once if you're selected and once you had the conversation with the specialist, those dates are flexible to change. So it's not very strict. The same question I'm going to ask to Dr. Heo. how did you select your Fulbright specialists?
Yeah, thanks, Lina. Thanks for the question. In fact, because we are going to offer the certification examination, and this certification is coming from the Board of Forensic Entomology, from the American Board of Forensic. So you need someone who is in the board, yeah, the board member, and that's why this is how we pick our Fulbright specialist. And it also happens that she is the president of the Forensic Entomology Association in the US. So yeah, this is how we choose her. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer, Dr. Hill. There's a question here. Will a multi-institutional application improve the chances of securing funding? We don't select based on multi-institutional because only one host can host the specialist. So, for example, if UKM is hosting it, the reason why it's one host, UKM has to do the visa, that where the specialists will be coming in. Now, a lot of you are thinking, oh, they're coming in for 6 weeks. The Americans, can't they come in on their social visit pass? No, they cannot. The Americans cannot come in on their social visit visa because it's for social visit up to 90 days. They are coming here to do work for your institutions. So they are coming here to do work. They will come here under a professional visa, which your institution would need to do the processing for. However, in your proposal, you could have multi-institutional supporting your project, meaning I think like Dr. Hyo, you all went to different institutions, am I correct? Not, you all didn't stay within UITM. How many institutions did you work with?
Well, I think mainly the forensic wildlife laboratory located in Cheras, and that forensic wildlife is under the Department of Forestry, Pahilitan. Yeah.
Correct. And even Dr. Hairani, you all worked with many different institutions as well and organizations in Sarawak when you were working. So when you bring a specialist, when we bring a specialist down, we don't just want them to help you as an institution, but we want to help the community and the country as well. So we look at proposals that leverages these opportunities where they're able to go and visit ministries within the specific field. They can be giving workshops that's open to public, that's open to schools, that's open. So when you prepare your program or your project paper, having these details in are very helpful for us because then we're able to see the impact of what you're going to be doing. Can we bring someone to address the drug abuse conundrum here in Malaysia? Will such application be supported? Of course. It's just how you put it in. How are you going to do this project, Darshan? So you would need to write down in detail which field is going to be in. How are you going to leverage this? It's going to be a workshop. Who's going to be attending this workshop? You're going to put all these details in your application. How many projects are approved a year for Malaysia? It's 5 to 6 projects a year. How competitive? It's very competitive. However, if you don't try, you don't know, right? All we just say is the things that we look for is how can this project impact your organization? Now, some of y'all are not universities, y'all are non-profit. Y'all could be from the government. So how does it impact your institution? But also how does it impact the community? How does it impact the country? So if in your proposal you put we've got people who put projects, there's so many different projects, I can tell you, I think some of the specialists don't even get a break in the 2 weeks they're here or the 5 weeks they're here. Every day there is something going on. It could be meetings, it could be going for Dr. Hairani took them for visits, because they are here to work, So you have to leverage the time that they are here and use them to expand not only your network, but and it's got to work towards that field of study that you're trying to improve. So you have to leverage on that opportunity that are here. So the more impact we see in your proposal, the more likely you are to be shortlisted. One of the important things I want to talk about is cost share. I know some NGOs, they do not have any cost share, or some universities don't have cost share. We've had some universities get sponsors for this event. Could be within, sometimes they got department budget, but they could have specific sponsors who come in to fund the research. You can also do that from your university. But we do encourage you, do not work on this proposal on your own. If you're within a university, please go to your international office, go see your VCs, tell them you want to do this project, you need the budget for accommodation. If your university has, accommodation for scholars, visiting scholars, can you use that? Because that will help for your costings. Meals can be the meals in the university, you can take them out. Transportations, can you use your institution's cars? So these are some of the things that you got to talk to people within your institution. How can you budget for these particular projects? The cost share that comes from your side. One specialist per project, I assume that precludes a colleague from applying along with me, or can she apply on her own? Would you choose one of us, or could we work together? Thank you, Ed, for your question. Yes, it's only one specialist. However, I think in Dr. Hio's project, they did bring a colleague over, but that cost for that colleague was borne on their own. It is not borne. So the specialist program will only pay for the specialist that's been named for this project, their flight ticket, their accommodation, their meals, and so forth. Whoever who comes with them, they have to pay on their own. I hope that answers that question. If there's no other questions from the crowd, I will pull up some questions from mine. I think, what tips can you all give to institutions when considering to host a Fulbright specialist in the future? So I will ask this question to Dr. Hio first, and then we will go to Dr. Haironi. What tips can you give to all these people here who are on this call when filling out the application? Like, what advice can you give them?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I think the most importantly is the goal and the objective. I think this must be clear and well communicated with your faculty. Yeah, because you will need to bring this application up to the management level of the university for the discussion, because it involves budget and also cost sharing from the university side. Therefore, the proposal has to be convincing, and you have to get the support from the management. And of course, in the application, you have to state clearly what you can do and what you want to do with the specialists. Yeah, the best is your program and your event involve multiple levels. You involve the student, you involve the faculty members, you involve the public. So you plan the activities according to the target audience, and of course, it would be the best to follow up after the specialist program. What are the future impacts following the visit? Yeah, it can be the research collaboration, it can be a publication, or bilateral visit, and so on. So that is very important. The communication with your management. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hio. Dr. Haironi?
Yes, I agree with Dr. Hio. Number one, you need to focus on what are the objectives that you want to achieve, so that you can give a structured program to the specialist, and he or she can prepare accordingly before they come to visit. So you need to spell that out clearly. Number two, as much as possible, involve not just your organization, but other organizations that may benefit from his or her visit. We work very closely with the minister. We work very closely with all the other special schools, the NGOs, so that not just Dyslexia Association benefit, but everyone else in the surrounding community benefits. And we got a lot of support from the minister as a result of that. So I think those are the two important ones. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Haironi. There's a question from Isma Riwan. Does the project need to be training in nature, or can it be also developing a system, document, or other deliverables by a ministerial division? Yes, it can be. However, what we would look at is, if it's just going to be developing a curriculum or a system, how will this impact? What is the impact of this particular project? So yes, it can be, because we have people who just come and develop a curriculum for the university, but they also talk about this curriculum with other universities themselves. So those are the similar things that we've done. So yes, you can be developing a system, document, or other deliverables, but how will this be impactful for the ministry and also the community? Another question here from Mindy. My question is related to education. Can the specialist be someone whose expertise ranges from preschool to secondary school, secondary education, or the specialist specifically preschool education, expert primary education, and then secondary school expert? With the new curriculum being introduced in schools, all three levels are in focus right now. So Mindy, to answer your question, it is all in what you want. So if you do not have a named specialist, you will be an open project. So if it's an open specialist project, you can put the criteria of what you want within that specialist section. So since you're only having one person, you can put that you want this person to be an education specialist who understands the expertise from preschool to secondary school. So you put that all your criteria for the specialists you're looking for. Our US partner, which is World Learning, will then go out and recruit these people who are within this criteria that you have put in. I hope that answers your question, Mindy. So Kelly, I might have missed this, but is there a catalog where we can access the current specialists to increase the chances of us finding a specialist for a name project? There isn't a specific catalog, Kelly, but you don't have to worry. Like I said, if they're not a specialist right now, if there is someone that you have in mind and who's a name, you can put their name in, and our partner World Learning will contact them and tell them, look, we've got a request from this place that wants you to be their specialist. Are you interested? And then they would then have to join in as a specialist roster, join the specialist roster. What you could do is, if you have that person in mind, you could direct them to the Fulbright Specialist website on World Learning. And there is a place there just for specialists to apply to be part of the specialist roster. So they could start their application early, don't have to wait, for them to be selected, because it does take time. So if they haven't applied, they can just go and apply now, and then they can go through the process. And if they're selected, they can let you know, hey, Kelly, I'm already selected. So if your project is selected, then it's great. Then you could start your project earlier. My one advice is that for all of you who are doing open project, please plan it from April onwards, because there's a lot of planning involved, a lot of logistics planning that is involved with like visa, accommodation, getting the activities all planned out. You all will only be notified in November. So if you put it in January, it's going to be very tough. So my advice to everyone, try to plan it anywhere from April onwards for your specialists to come for your visits. Okay, the time now is 3:58. We still have time for one more question. Please, even if we do run out of time, you can email me. My email is lena@macee.org.my. Please feel free to email me any questions you may have. Do look out for the recording of this session along with the documents that we're going to be sending through. There is going to be a quick survey that will also be shared on that email. Please do fill out that survey. This helps to improve our info sessions. Fill that up, and you can continuously ask questions. If you need to be connected to Dr. Hyo or Dr. Hirani, let me know. I will get their permission to share their emails so that, they can continue to advise you on this. But thank you so much. One last question. We are teacher division from MOE. We develop and ensure compliance of Malaysian teacher standard. We also teachers if the specialists could help us in upgrading our efficiency in our work report. That'll be wonderful. So when you prepare your project proposal, this seems to be the challenge that you're trying to address. So you need to list down your objectives, and this is what your objectives are going to be. Then what I would advise you is to also put in what work do you want them to do, because it's very important, right? You need to set the stage for what you want your specialists to do. So when World Learning goes out hunting and recruiting for the specialists, they are able to get you the right fit. Okay, the time now is 4 o'clock. Thank you everyone so much for your time. Please do not hesitate to email us. Again, thank you very much. And thank you, Dr. Hyo and Dr. Hirani, for your time. Really appreciate it. Wishing everyone a wonderful rest of the day and the weekend. and all the best. Thank you.